was good world. In this, we're going to be talking about the Siakam trade, the after effects for both teams, and as well as other teams around the league and trades that could be made after this. Hey man, we're talking about hoops, so don't overcomplicate it. It'd probably have to be expected that Bruce Brown will be coming back in the deal as well. So the picks that will go for Siakam in this trade, it says 2024 first round picks will be Indiana's own and the worst of Utah, Houston, Clippers, OKC, which is obviously gonna be like bottom 5 because OKC is gonna finish top 5. Yeah, because these two are negligent in that. And then 2026, it was protected top 4 for the Pacers, which they probably won't be anyways, but even if they were. So they get basically 3 mediocre first round picks. You know, I honestly haven't really thought about it in regards to the Raptors side of it, but yeah, they get basically 3 mediocre first round picks. The Pacers one this year could be like top 20 if they finish low enough, but I don't know. And then the other one could be as well. It could even be lottery if things, you know, went, hey, you know, awry, completely amok. All in all, though, it's not the greatest return for Siakam. And then you get Bruce Brown, who you could potentially flip for some other stuff. I saw that the Knicks are interested in him, and I think I've heard about like the Sixers. I feel like you hear about the same few teams, you know, the same like mulling contending teams, like the middle line, middle ground, whatever, probably, especially because Bruce Brown's making 22 million, I think. So for just this season, and then I think he has a team option in the offseason, like the Knicks could give up Evan Fournier and get him, or whatever other bad contracts other teams have, they could just give up and get him and throw some picks in there if they wanted them. But that's really it. They got Kyra Lewis in some last ditch effort from the Pelicans, because the Pelicans wanted to stay out of under the luxury tax. So they had got Kyra Lewis from them for literally nothing. The Pelicans gave up a second round pick in the deal to get rid of Kyra so that they can get under the luxury tax. And yeah, and then and then I think it's just Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora. He's cool, but they literally got basically nothing. NBA is obviously, I won't say basically nothing, because to be fair, Pascal himself was a 20-something pick, and you know you always want to trust your draft whatever. But I mean, they did just draft Grady, and he hasn't done much yet. So not to say that, you know, Siakam didn't do much for his first like 2 years, but you know, interesting return. But also though, he was an expiring contract. It's actually the same deal that the Knicks kind of had with Quickly, where it's like, well, he was gonna just leave. You know, obviously they could have, Knicks situation, they could have matched, but it's just, you know, we're not going to, we don't want to commit that much money to you. We're not in the same direction as where you are right now, or you don't fit our direction. And we'll just take these 3 picks. If anything, people were saying, I saw people on Twitter like yesterday or the day before being like, why would the Pacers trade all these picks? Guys, the business, don't be stupid. Or maybe you just are stupid, but it's all good. Here's the information. Teams don't trade for players like this unless they know they're going to stay. Unless the player, you know, is like been in mulling and trade talks and nobody really wants him, eventually gets thrown away for $2. You know, teams don't throw 3 first-round picks away for a player who isn't what's it called. So yeah, our direction equals Otto Porter timeline. No, their direction, the Raptors' direction right now is simply take a step back and reevaluate. You get Quickly, you get RJ, 2 young players, younger players who will be, Pascal is 29. I don't know when his birthday is, but he's going to be 30 years old at some point in life, at some point within the next 365 days. His birthday is in April. He will be 29 to 30 years old, I should say. So if you're the Raptors, you kind of just, unfortunately, they owe their pick. Oh yeah, I did see that as well, that people said that, hold on, let me see. People were saying about, okay, NBA future draft picks detailed. I don't know what their pick situation is, because I saw some people saying that, oh, they owe their pick elsewhere, and then some people like, well, no, they don't, because it's protected. I don't know. Let me see real quick. Toronto. Top 6 for Pirtle. Is it top 6? Hold on. All right. 2024. Yep. Top 6 this year, top 6 next year, and top 6 the year after that. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. That's not the that wasn't the best move by them. To be fair, they've been in center hell for a little while now, and now they actually are in that again, because I think I saw Jonte Porter was starting for them today. Michael Porter Jr.'s brother was starting at center for them today, I'm pretty sure. And aside from that, I mean, they have Boucher and one other person, and Kem Birch. Is he still there? I don't even know if he's still there, but they were in center hell last season, and they got Pirtle. I guess, you know, San Antonio backed them into a wall and said, hey, you want your guy back? Well, you know, but this isn't what's it called? This isn't good. Birch got waived. Yeah, this isn't good, because they would have to luck out in the lottery probably to be top 6, because top 6 as of right now is gonna obviously be Detroit, Washington, Charlotte, San Antonio, and Portland. That's the top 6. They're actually right now, which is funny. And they could hypothetically be worse. But the thing is, too, is that the Raptors are still a solid team. They just beat Miami today with everybody gone. So I don't think, you know, they're also not, Toronto's not the type of organization. I don't believe they would direct their players to lose, though. So I don't think they're going to lose intentionally. I don't think they're that type of franchise. So I think it'll be interesting to see. Also, I could easily see Brooklyn being worse than them. Brooklyn is interesting. We'll just leave it at that. They are 1-9 in their last 10, as you could see right here. And so is Charlotte. So Brooklyn could also be worse. Damn, Utah is 9-1. What do you think about the trade of Spurs rumors? I mean, there was DeJounte to Spurs rumors. I think it's any day now that we see a DeJounte trade. There hasn't been, with the Siakam thing, there was, I want to say about 3, 4, 5 days ago, there was some tweet where it was like, oh yeah, Siakam could be gone within the next day to Sacramento, I think it was. But then it was like the talks fell through because Siakam didn't want to re-sign there, which is funny. But he wanted to go to Indiana. Indiana probably, I don't really know what, I know Sacramento's had some weird games this season. They're obviously even more firm in the playoffs than Indiana. They're the same exact record. So maybe he just didn't want to go there. I don't know. They have, I mean, to be fair, they do have Murray and Sabonis. They probably weren't going to trade. As we see what they got, Bruce Brown, I don't know what the Kings would have traded, what type of contract situation they have, but let me see. Kings contracts, Sacramento. I just spelled Sacramento so bad. I don't know what they would have traded for. Is Indy able to pay him more or something? That shouldn't be even a consideration because that shouldn't be you know, it probably would have just been Harrison Barnes for Siakam. I'm not sure how the money would have matched up. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, the names are cut off, but this right here is Harrison Barnes, this third one, making $17 million this season, and then Trey Lyles right here. So it probably been like a combination. This dude Sasha Vezenkov, he's $6 million, so it would have been some, you know, combination of some of these guys. Herter actually hasn't been that great this season, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they could just. I'm pretty sure if you get traded, any team could just pay you the same amount. Because if you get their bird rights off rip, you could just. And also, I saw something that says that they could even sign to an extension starting now. I'm pretty sure. You don't have to wait. I don't know if there was. I know the rookie extension deadline is earlier on. Well, maybe it's that there's a deadline like another month or something. I don't know, but I gotta get up early to shovel ice. Damn. Y'all saw that DeAndre Ayton missed his game because of ice. DeAndre Ayton missed their game tonight because he couldn't make it to the arena because of ice. Suns come back against Kings. Yeah, that game was hideous. Also, I wish they had a dark mode for these type of apps, but yeah, that game was hideous. The Kings have been 5-5 in the last 10 is the perfect way to describe them. But to stay on the Siakam thing though, I was just watching the JJ Redick. I wanted to see what he had to say on it. And he said that they have the number one, Tyrese Halliburton is number one in terms of assist on transition. And Siakam is number one in, I believe, definitely field goal percentage. And he might have also said points in transition this season, and then also he had said that the Raptors are number one in transition points and the Pacers are number 2. That's pretty interesting because I haven't watched no Raptors games this season except for when they traded for Quickly. And I didn't know how the hell they played. They play fast pace, it seems. And it seems like Siakam, I mean, I knew Siakam's an athlete for sure. Siakam's really kind of just a jack of all trades. He's just good at basically everything. I saw some stat about how he's been shooting well from 3 the past like 5 games since they got Quickly and RJ there to shoulder more of the offensive load. He's been shooting much better. So obviously a lot of that's going to be shouldered on Tyrese once he's back. They're number 1 in points per game. And they're 29th in rebounds per game. So Siakam should help that out as well because they've been starting like Neesmith at power forward sometimes. Obi obviously was starting for a bit. I don't think Walker's got any, but Siakam though should be the real thing in terms of, I think that the reason why sometimes, and I've been really enjoying regular season basketball sparingly whenever I haven't been on it too much in like the past 4 days or whatever, but when I was in a kick with it watching it, basketball is just good right now. But in the past, I'll tend to not care as much about it because you know that certain things will and won't matter once the postseason comes around. And for example, the way that Miami has even underperformed a lot of seasons the past like every year almost, and then the playoffs come around, they're a play-in team and they make the finals. Why? Because they have a championship roster construction, and they also had role players do better, and they have a god tier coach. But with Indiana, the big question with them was, well, they have a number 1 offense, and they have a bottom 5 defense, but how does this translate into the playoffs, especially knowing that we don't know what a lot of their players, they don't have any playoff experience. I mean, obviously Miles Turner does from years past. What are they doing? I think I remember I've seen people, what's funny is when the Kings were starting to like surge once they got Sabonis, I remember seeing people start to comment and be like, oh, you're stupid. You said this was a bad trade for the Kings, or like, what are they doing? We're talking MVP candidate on the Pacers. I know Sabonis has been great too over there, but Tyrese has entirely made it's an even trade because it worked out well for both. Like, it's a good trade for both, but nonetheless, like it's still Tyrese. And yeah, I mean, obviously trades aren't gonna be the same. The worst is when that trade, it's either even or it is actually in favor of the Pacers. So either way, you know what I'm saying? And then the worst is when trades actually end up being the direct opposite and you guessed it the wrong way. That's when it gets awkward. But that trade, I mean, I think everyone kind of called that one the correct way it is. Everyone, at least that I personally watched and saw talk about it at the time. I do think people underestimated what Sabonis would do, but I don't even think I was personally underestimating what he would do at that time. He had led Indiana to playoff contenders multiple times. I know the East is weaker than the West, especially during that time, but he had led Indiana to multiple playoff appearances with Brogdon. I don't know about so many, but I know they had made it at least once or twice. And it wasn't like he was, you know, the lone leader after Oladipo got injured for many years, but I know they were still making it with Brogdon. And so it wasn't like, I don't know. I think some people, though, were acting like they just threw it, you know. Sabonis did. I think I mentioned even in that video, because I remember seeing that at the time. I'm like, damn, he's still only 25 years old. He's probably like 27 now. But the thing with the Pacers that I was trying to get at is that with someone like Miami or just teams of that ilk that end up making it far, you tend to always have, the biggest thing is their experience aside, they also don't have many 3-level scorers. If you look at their team, if their players, hold on, roster or whatever, screw it. I couldn't get the stats, I guess. Team stats, players stats. There we go. You look at their roster and you look at these top guys. Tyrese has developed into a 3-level scorer of sorts, where he's got that little stupid looking step back and a lot of things of that nature that he could go to that has led to him being a great scorer this season. But aside from him and Mathurin, there isn't like 3-level scorers on this team, guys that, you know, you could just give and hit a mid-range shot, even like at bare minimum, like a Harrison Barnes or something. They just don't have a plethora of scorers. So, but at the same time, they're the number one offense. So that's what makes it really intriguing, is that Tyrese is leading this team. And of course the guys that are hitting the shots as well, but he's leading this team that is the number one offense in the league, and they don't even have proven scorers as anybody. Even he wasn't. So it's like, now they actually have a guy who is a proven scorer and can fit their system and can bring the things that they potentially would have lacked once the playoffs came around. And it's going to be really interesting to see how they play, is how I would say. So, because like watching a team like Miami, I was at the games when they were playing the Knicks, and just seeing them in general against a team like Milwaukee or Boston, that series was hell in a good way, though, weirdly enough. But those mid-range, I had said it the other day when I was on here that I was watching Iguodala, and he was talking about fourth quarter of finals and conference finals games. You just today was the second time I brought lottery tickets and they didn't ask my ID. Yeah, though, you old man. You old man. You just old. But no, what was I saying about Siakam? No, I wasn't talking. Oh, I was saying that Iguodala had said once you get to the fourth quarter and in these late playoff games, you just want a bucket. And that's what Siakam could give you, rather than a lot of these dudes. You're not passing it to, you know what I'm saying, with all due respect. I mean, unless he's in the right spot. Bruce Brown isn't ISO and getting you a bucket. Miles Turner ain't ISO and getting you a bucket. Mathurin's the only dude, him and Tyrese on this team, that could potentially even do that for you. There's probably a few more that can get you some lucky shots, but to actually be reliant on that, yeah, no, Siakam's going to be a very interesting. He might not be on the list. Hey, Bruce should have just taken the pay cut to stay in Denver. Yeah, so he's going to end up probably swung to a new team. I'm not sure where, but we'll see. Bruce is going to be either, let's see. So they got NBA Trade Creator. I forgot what this thing is called. NBA Trade Machine. There we go. So here you go. Siakam over there. Bada bing. So boom. You could throw the Raptors in here. Let me see. Oh, can I go back to that actually? Oh well, yeah, that's not surprising. So they got Murray in here. Is that Jordan Nwora? Yeah. They threw him in. I guess people were just trying to do the trade for their own. Okay, whatever. But he's going to get, I see Evan Fournier all the way down here. He's probably going to get rerouted to a team like, where is he at? Can I not even, they're probably just not letting me do it. But some team that has a player that makes a lot of money and is close to it. I guess they don't even technically have to be expiring, because Toronto is going to be in a fake little rebuild for a second. But yeah, that's the thing though, is that interests me with them, is that I don't think they're going to be in a rebuild, quote unquote, for long. I think they'll just be because Scotty's too good for them to not, like the same way that Paolo and company are willing Orlando into the playoff spot. I think Scotty does that sooner than later. But he's not as dominant of a scorer as someone like Paolo is. I think they average probably around the same points, but it's more so just systematic. Yeah, I don't know. Morris and Korkmaz and Melton in seconds with Bruce and someone else coming back. Yeah, I was about to say it'd have to be someone else because I don't think they give up Melton. And I don't know how Morris has been playing, but I know Melton was doing really well. I know he's been injured lately, but there go Dre stupid self talking about trade Cam Reddish. Dre, you ain't on the list, buddy. Them Lakers ain't on the list for this one. Orlando is gonna, you think they're gonna go deep into the playoffs? I don't know. I mean, I think it's going to be a bloodbath, some of these lower East seeds, assuming that this is going to be it. I don't think Chicago or Atlanta's literally only here because of how bad Brooklyn is 1-9 right now in their last 10. And that's the only reason why Atlanta's even, they're playing solid enough, but Chicago was actually overperforming for a while. Yo, Boston hasn't lost a home game yet. That's wild. That's kind of crazy. They almost lost one to the Pistons, crazily enough. Wiggins in a pick for Laurie, crackhead. And then over here, same old. I saw OKC lost to somebody I was watching the other day. Lakers? Did they lose to the Lakers like yesterday or something? And then did they lose to the Lakers and the Clippers? I think they just had a two game, what's it called? West losing streak. I see the Clippers here. Yeah, they lost to the Lakers and the Clippers. Someone just said, yeah. They just, but they're still, even with that, they're still second. And then Shea, I think I saw, has the most 30-point games of any player this season, just in total. Yeah, Paul George. No, I was watching that. Paul George was going stupid. Yeah, the Warriors fan base in the asylum. I saw, I will say on Nick's topic, I'm not so happy with people that are so quick to want to give up Quentin Grimes. I think though I saw someone, and it was interesting because I feel like a lot of like the dons of the league move like this, like the actual powerhouses of the league. They're very, very expendable with their players and just make their other players as good as those players. Like the Knicks recently, Miles McBride's been as good as anybody off the bench. And I see people talking about, oh, trade Quentin Grimes for this person or that person, like Terry Roziers or people of that nature. I'm like, damn, we wasn't even trying to trade this dude for Donovan. And I know that Donovan still would have counted us for like 5 first-round picks plus RJ plus whatever. And then also been a second short 6'1" guard next to Brunson. But I'm like, damn, we wasn't even trying to trade this dude at all like a year ago. And now we're like, okay, you could just have him. I'm not really as cool with wanting to trade him because I know he's had like an on and off season, but I'll feel worse about trading him. I felt bad about Quickly, but I'll feel worse about trading him, especially because I know he still has, he was drafted 21, 22, 22, 23, 23, 24. So this would be, he'd have one more year on his rookie contract. I get it though. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to have to pay him after the season. He wasn't nothing like a second round pick. So he's going to have to get a decent, now he will have restricted and bird rights and all that type of stuff. And I could see them also trying to deal him because they're like, well, we're going to have to pay him. And, as of right now, you're cutting it a year earlier than when you're going to have to be in like limbo, like how we just kind of gave away Quickly for nothing-ish, kind of. Like, it feels like that OG trade could have been done regardless, and we just threw Quickly in there instead of throwing in first-round picks. And with Grimes, you could throw him away a year early and not have to be actually at fault, I guess, because then the teams be like, well, you don't want to pay him? Well, we'll pay him, but you're not going to pay him, so we'll take him not for the right value that you could have got for him, you know what I mean? So who would you trade Julius for? Nobody. Not necessarily in a nobody sense, like nobody in the league, but out of realistic things that he could get traded for, nothing right now because it doesn't make any sense. I know people like to joke about Julius Randle. I actually saw, shout out to this dude Kofi. I've been seeing him on TikTok and Twitter and everything. I saw a YouTube short from him, and he was saying how Julius Randle has been one of the best players in the NBA this season because he has. He does it every year. I know that he can't perform. The thing is, I was even talking with people, friends, whatever, about what to do with Julius Randle. You don't trade him. You just go with it because there's no other way around it. Like you obviously, teams are seeing how bad he's played in the playoffs. So teams with legitimate other ulterior lateral even stars for trades aren't going to trade them for Julius Randle because they know that he's known to underperform. But at the same time, we're not going to take a step backwards and trade him for less, at least currently. You don't do that at least before this season ends. He's going to probably make the All-Star team again. So it's like, you just don't. Yeah, he isn't making that much money. If anything, it's looking like maybe, I want to believe and keep the delusion, but OG might honestly be our most paid player, highest paid player after this season. I believe RJ was second to Julius, and OG might honestly be number 1 after this season. I don't know though. It depends on how big of a discount he takes, but he could be getting a super bag. I don't really know. But as of right now, though, they don't pay. I had earlier the Kings up right here. Not sure if I could just get to the Knicks contracts. Come on, Google. Could the Hawks trade everything, even Trey? I don't think the Hawks, this is the thing, right? If you're the Hawks, you're not just gonna spawn a #1 option, and I don't think Trey is gonna be that. So I think that you gotta consider it, because I don't think Trey is ever gonna currently. Here you go. This is what the Knicks salaries look like. I went to a different site so you could actually see. But yeah, Julius average of 29 million, Brunson average of 26 million. Damn, Hart's averaging 20 million. Damn. Hey, it is what it is. He's been mediocre this season, actually, crazily enough, but I don't know. I liked him in the playoffs. If you prove me right in the playoffs, and you know, if you just do it again, if we're gonna make it again, you do it again. That works for me. Yeah, the Cavs did smoke the Bucks today, but Giannis wasn't playing, and they seem to just lose their thought process whenever Giannis isn't playing. My guy, MTC, appreciate it. I saw some people being like, oh yeah, because I saw the dude comment. I saw you comment, we lost them too, and now we about to lose Grimes. You hurting because you a homer. I saw people on Instagram, because I went back on my Instagram account and posted when all that stuff was going down, and I see people like, man, this team don't got no heart no more. I'm watching this team, it just looks like souls out there. I'm like, the only person you should be praising and kneeling down to if you're gonna be like that is Jalen Brunson. It shouldn't be no other. You shouldn't be. So RJ Barrett, he helped us go to the playoffs that one time. I'll say helped us. It was really like the resurgence of the Derrick Rose thing. Derrick Rose led us to like a 14-game winning streak or something like that in March. I think that season went on a little bit later. So it was in like March or April or something like that. And I don't know how people have much of a, because the only reason we were that good, this man Jalen Brunson is the best player we've had since Melo, and he's got potential to even do better. So it's like, and then Randall as well, honestly, has equally, but he's got to obviously perform in the playoffs. And yeah, so real Knicks fans know we started clicking that season we traded for Rose. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously that's the first time they made the playoffs since 2013, so of course that's what's it called. But yeah, but for them though, they're gonna let go. Oh yeah, if Hart got 20 million, yeah, OG's probably gonna get 30. He's probably gonna get 30. So that's what you got to deal with. Fournier thankfully expires this offseason, even if they don't trade him for value like a Bruce Brown or some, who also would expire this offseason if they wanted him to. To be fair, I could actually see Bruce Brown going back to free agency and getting the same deal again. If I know his value was bolstered, but at least he'll probably end up going back and getting like 15 to 20 million, not maybe 24 or whatever it was he had got, you know, maybe even just 15 maybe for like, or what's it called? But yeah, so that's how I think about. Let's see, is there anything else? We discussed the Pacers. What's your thoughts on Miles McBride? He's good, he's talented, plays basketball. He's been overperforming like hell. That's the one thing that made me confused, because I saw some of my friends who I've known for years like being like, oh yeah, we got to get rid of Grimes now, McBride can take his spot, he's proven. I'm like, whoa, it's been like 2 weeks of a regular season. I know that Grimes didn't play well in the playoffs either, but Grimes is one of the cleanest shooting strokes I've seen in a long time. I don't want to just act like, especially for a player who's like, McBride's probably like 6'2", Grimes is like 6'5". He was known to be one of our best defenders last season, a real hustle type of dude, and we just gonna throw him away for, you know, I don't know, it depends on what we'd be thrown away for. And also too, they are trying to gear in and be one of these top teams in the conference. If they do leverage, I think it's interesting, because I remember always like as a close-minded fan, seeing other fans that would be like, oh my God, we have the greatest young core in the league. And then the Bleacher Report things would drop. You'd be like, man, what, you didn't rank Kevin Knox and Damian Dotson the best young core in the league? But it's interesting for us to actually have that now, but also have talent, so we could leverage those young players that are actually valued around the league to an extent, and get other solid proven players like a Terry Rozier or a Malcolm Brogdon, or I don't know if Clarkson's available, or now Bruce Brown or whatever. So we'll see what the hell they do. I don't know. Chet is a more effective defender. I don't know I'll be honest, I don't know what the hell the Victor and Chet thing is. We'll just see what they say at the end of this. I haven't felt much need to like look at their, you know, comparisons or whatever when the season isn't over. And also too, Chet, I mean, he is leading a winner. I think that's going to help his case. I'm not sure how much you should allow that to, but I think it's going to help his case. And he's not the leader, but he's part of. And I know that usually doesn't come into a rookie of the year, but when they're this close, we'll see. Yeah, he does have significantly. They're both really good. Like, I don't like that it's becoming a pent up against each other when people make basketball into like a negative thing. You know what I mean? Because I don't think they even care that much. Please watch the new 2 Hype all-time draft. Do I have another thing to? Oh God, maybe I will. Okay, you know what? That'd be actually kind of funny. I haven't watched some that I can brutally rate in a while. We're really worse than Dylan Brooks. Yeah, the Warriors are. Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll probably just lost it today actually, or nah, they probably were still above because they have one less loss. Yeah, they're bad. They're bad. Damn, worse than Utah does not make sense to me. I guess they just piece it together, man. They just have more dog. I don't know. Yeah, oh yeah, the game was postponed, yeah. Can you watch Nuggets versus 70? I actually might do that. But is there anything else in regards to the Pascal? No, not really. It's pretty straightforward. He's just good.